Imagine the bustling streets of ancient Rome slowly fading into darkness as the sun dips below the horizon. The chatter of merchants and the clatter of carts gradually quiet, replaced by the soft murmur of night. For most citizens, this is the time to rest, but for slaves, the night is just another layer of toil, uncertainty, and survival. As dusk settles, a young slave named Marcus wipes the sweat from his brow after a long day in the olive groves outside the city. His hands are calloused, his back aching, but he knows there is no rest yet. The city's lamps flicker on, casting dancing shadows on the cobblestones, illuminating the faces of those who walk the streets freely, faces he can never hope to wear his own. Slaves like Marcus lived in small, cramped quarters tucked behind wealthy villas or in the insulae, the apartment buildings that housed Rome's poor. These spaces were dark, with little ventilation, the smell of cooking fires and damp stone mingling in the air. Here, in these cramped rooms, Marcus shares the space with other young men and women who, like him, dream silently of a life beyond chains, though most never see it. But night in ancient Rome is not merely a pause from labor, it is when secret lives unfold. Street corners hide whispered deals, merchants close their shops and count coins in shadows. Some slaves steal moments of laughter or stolen meal. Marcus's world at night is defined by both fear and small freedoms, moments of choice that exist in the margins of a society built on stark hierarchies. Tonight, like many nights before, Marcus will carry out tasks for his master, fetching water, tending a fire, ensuring that no candle goes unlit in the sprawling villa above. Every step is careful, every movement calculated, because one mistake could mean punishment. And yet, amid the exhaustion and fear, there is an odd rhythm to it all, a pulse of life that carries on even under the weight of oppression. As the city sleeps lightly, Marcus walks through quiet streets, listening to the distant songs of night birds and the soft clinking of water in the fountains. He knows tomorrow will demand the same labor, the same vigilance. But tonight, for a few precious hours, he breathes the cool night air and imagines the freedom that feels just beyond reach. The moon rises high above the terracotta rooftops, bathing the narrow streets of Rome in a pale silver light. Marcus moves silently, careful not to draw attention. Each step echoes softly on the worn stones as he carries a bucket of water from the public fountain back to the villa. The night feels alive with tiny hidden movements, rats scurrying through alleyways, the faint creak of shutters in distant homes, and the whispers of other slaves performing their duties. Inside the villa, the main hall glows with the flicker of oil lamps. Marcus's master, a wealthy patrician, sleeps comfortably, unaware of the intricate dance of service happening around him. Slaves like Marcus keep the household running, attending to tasks that the free citizens never see. He checks the cooking fires, stirs a pot of stew left from the day's meal, and ensures that the lamps along the corridors burn steadily. A single candle snuffed could mean waking the household with the scent of smoke, an unforgivable mistake. Yet, amidst the labor, small moments of humanity persist. Marcus exchanges a quiet smile with Livia, a young maid carrying fresh linens as they pass each other in the corridor. In these brief interactions, fleeting though they are, he finds comfort, a reminder that he is not entirely alone in this nightly world. The shadows of the villa seem less oppressive when shared with someone who understands the unspoken rules of survival. Outside, the city's noises fade into distant echoes. Occasionally, the clatter of a cart returning from the marketplace or the laughter of a group of freedmen reminds Marcus of the life he will never fully know. But the night also offers hidden pleasures. A warm breeze across his face as he runs errands outside, the glitter of stars above the Pantheon, and the distant murmur of the Tiber River, carrying secrets from one end of the city to the other. Marcus's night is a balance between fear and small freedoms, labor and fleeting joys. Each task completed, each lamp lit, each quiet interaction is part of a rhythm he knows too well. And though exhaustion tugs at his limbs, he continues, driven by habit, survival, and the fragile hope that one day the night might bring more than chores and shadows. It might bring something unexpected, something extraordinary. Once Marcus finishes his tasks inside the villa, he steps out into the night air again. The streets of Rome are quieter now, but not silent. Shadows cling to corners, and every alley seems to whisper stories that few dare to hear. The cobblestones under his feet are cold, slick from the evening dew, and the faint glow of oil lamps casts eerie, flickering patterns along the walls. Marcus knows these streets well. He has navigated them countless times, carrying messages, fetching supplies, or sneaking to see friends. But at night, the city feels different, almost alive in a secret way. He passes the Forum, deserted at this hour, where statues of gods loom silently in the silver moonlight, their stony eyes seeming to follow his every move. Somewhere nearby, a lone musician plays a soft tune on a lyre, the notes drifting through the empty squares like whispers. It is here, in the silent corners of the city, that the hidden world of Rome reveals itself. Marcus sometimes witnesses freedmen conducting clandestine business, exchanging coins for information or goods they cannot show openly. Other times, he sees small groups of slaves huddled together, sharing stolen food or quiet laughter. These moments, simple and secret, feel like tiny rebellions against the harsh rules that govern their lives. On this particular night, Marcus notices a strange glow coming from the back of the marketplace. Curiosity tugs at him, though he knows he should keep moving. Carefully he approaches and sees a group of craftsmen, men and women, working under the cover of darkness. They craft delicate jewelry and intricate trinkets, their hands moving skillfully while their eyes dart nervously. This is a side of the city most people never see, the hidden talents and secret livelihoods of those considered lowly yet brilliant in their own right. As Marcus turns to continue his rounds, he feels a sense of awe. The city of Rome, so rigid and ordered by day, becomes a place of hidden life at night. Every shadow, every whisper, every flickering flame tells a story. And though he must return to his master's villa soon, Marcus carries these glimpses with him, tiny sparks of wonder in a life otherwise constrained by rules, labor, and survival. As Marcus makes his way back toward the villa, the night takes on a more threatening tone. The once gentle moonlight now casts long, twisting shadows, and the silence feels heavier. He knows that danger in Rome is rarely absent, even at night. Pickpockets, stray dogs, and the occasional drunken freedman can turn a quiet street into a perilous path. For a slave, a misstep could be fatal, not only from the city's dangers, but from the wrath of masters if tasks are delayed or mishandled. His feet move cautiously, ears alert to the smallest sound. The clatter of a loose shutter, the creak of a distant gate, even the whisper of the wind becomes magnified in the stillness. Marcus has learned to trust his instincts. They have saved him more than once. Every step feels like a negotiation between survival and curiosity, between caution and the urge to explore. Yet the night is not solely danger. Marcus pauses near the edge of the forum, looking at the flickering torchlight from the nearby temple. Priests and attendants sometimes move silently through the sacred space, performing rites that must not be disturbed. Marcus has watched them from a distance, fascinated by the strange rituals and the solemnity of their work. Even in his restricted life, he finds small wonders, hidden knowledge that no master could forbid him to admire. As he continues, Marcus passes a narrow alley where a small group of children, some free, some slaves, play quietly. Their laughter is almost shocking in its innocence, echoing through the empty street. He smiles to himself, a fleeting moment of light in a world dominated by strict rules and relentless labor. These moments are precious, reminders that life persists even under oppression. But suddenly, a shadow detaches from a nearby doorway. A man, his face hidden beneath a hood, moves with intent. Marcus freezes. The instinct to flee is strong, yet he knows every sudden motion could draw attention. Nights in Rome are filled with such hazards, and even the smallest misjudgment can have serious consequences. Marcus tightens his grip on his small bundle of errands, heart racing, fully aware that the night is as much a test of courage as it is a time of work. The streets of Rome at night hold many secrets, but for Marcus, some of the most precious are the friendships that quietly thrive in the shadows. In the back alleys behind the bustling marketplace, he meets Cassia, a young maid from a neighboring household. They exchange small smiles and whispered greetings, careful not to attract attention from patrolling guards or nosy freedmen. Their friendship is simple but invaluable, a shared understanding that, despite the world's restrictions, they are not entirely alone. Cassia teaches Marcus small tricks to make life easier, like how to carry heavy buckets without spilling water, or how to sneak past watchful overseers without drawing notice. In return, Marcus shares stories he's overheard from other slaves, tales of hidden opportunities, and even rumors of mysterious gatherings in the city's shadows. These exchanges are fleeting, but they offer warmth and companionship in a world that often denies such comforts. Tonight, after completing his usual chores, Marcus and Cassia find a quiet corner behind the villa's storage area. Here they exchange small morsels of food, leftovers saved from the day's meals. To an outsider, it may seem trivial, but for them, these moments are luxuries, tiny acts of rebellion against the strict rules of their lives. Marcus laughs softly at Cassia's stories, the sound almost startling in the quiet night. For a few minutes, they exist not as slaves bound by duty, but as young people sharing a fleeting sense of freedom. The city itself seems to encourage these secret joys. In certain alleys, vendors leave small offerings of fruit or bread for passing slaves, and musicians sometimes play softly for no audience, their melodies drifting through the night. Marcus often pauses to listen, letting the music wash over him, imagining distant lands and distant lives where freedom is not just a dream. The contrast between these small pleasures and the harshness of his daily existence is striking, yet it is this contrast that gives life its richness, even in the darkest of times. But friendship and joy do not erase the reality of danger. As Marcus and Cassia part ways to return to their respective quarters, he senses eyes watching from the shadows. Perhaps a thief, a patrolling freedman, or simply a curious neighbor. The tension never fully leaves the streets at night, and Marcus has learned to move with caution, blending into the darkness while remaining alert. The thrill of survival and the comfort of secret companionship coexist in a delicate balance, shaping the rhythm of his nightly existence. Despite the constant vigilance, Marcus treasures these hidden connections. They remind him that even in a life dominated by labor and restriction, human connection can flourish. In the quiet hours before dawn, these friendships, small joys, and stolen moments of laughter form a lifeline, a reassurance that, though the city is vast and rules are harsh, the heart can still find ways to breathe and live. As he returns to his cramped quarters, Marcus reflects on the night's experiences, the tasks completed, the shadows navigated, the tiny victories achieved. In the warm, silent darkness of his room, he allows himself a rare smile. Tomorrow will bring more work, more dangers, and more shadows, but for now he has felt the small, extraordinary moments that make life worth enduring. By the time Marcus finishes his chores, the city of Rome is shrouded in a near-complete darkness, broken only by the dim glow of oil lamps lining the streets. The air is cool, carrying the faint scent of baked bread from nearby bakeries and the earthy aroma of the Tiber River flowing silently in the distance. Nights like these offer Marcus both danger and opportunity, the freedom to explore parts of the city that remain hidden from the eyes of the day. He slips through narrow alleys and forgotten passageways, areas even many citizens rarely traverse. Here, he encounters remnants of the city's secret life, a group of craftsmen working quietly under lantern light, weaving baskets and carving small figurines. A scholar reading scrolls in a tiny courtyard, oblivious to the outside world, and an old woman selling herbs and remedies that she dares not display in the busy marketplaces. Marcus observes them carefully, fascinated by the hidden economy and knowledge that thrives away from the scrutiny of patricians and magistrates. Tonight, he is drawn to a faint sound emanating from the forum, a rhythmic tapping that echoes eerily through the empty squares. Curiosity pushes him closer, careful to remain unseen. There, in a shadowed corner, a group of masked figures practice a strange performance, half dance, half military drill. Marcus watches, mesmerized. Each movement is precise, almost ritualistic, and he realizes he is witnessing a secret society, perhaps a guild of performers, or even a clandestine club of freedmen who gather to rehearse in the secrecy of night. The thrill of discovery fills Marcus with a rare excitement. In this hidden Rome, the ordinary rules seem to bend. Those considered lowly by day reveal talents and knowledge that astonish him. He wonders how many more secrets the city holds, tucked away in the folds of night, waiting for someone daring or desperate enough to find them. Yet, the darkness is not without peril. As he continues through the labyrinth of alleys, a sudden noise, a clatter of stones behind him, makes him freeze. Marcus's heart races, the lesson of survival from countless nights taking over. Perhaps it is a stray dog, or perhaps someone who notices him lingering too long in forbidden spaces. He crouches in the shadow of a wall, waiting, listening. The city at night is both alive and vigilant. Every sound carries meaning. Every shadow conceals possibility. Eventually, the noise fades, and Marcus resumes his path. He knows that for every wonder he glimpses in the night, there is risk. But these secret journeys offer him knowledge, courage, and a sense of agency rarely afforded to someone in his position. Each night, he learns something new about the city, about its hidden lives, and even about himself. In a world ruled by masters and law, Marcus discovers small freedoms in secrecy, tiny acts of bravery that illuminate the darkness and bring a strange, comforting sense of mastery to his otherwise constrained life. The first hint of dawn is still hours away, but Marcus is already awake, preparing for the tasks his master has assigned for the night. These errands are not just labor, they are delicate operations that require precision, discretion, and courage. One wrong move could mean punishment, or worse, exposure to the city's darker elements. Tonight, Marcus is tasked with delivering a small chest of coins and documents to a distant villa on the other side of the city. The route is treacherous, winding through dimly lit streets, crowded insulae, and abandoned warehouses. Even though the city seems asleep, danger lurks in every shadow. Bandits and thieves often prowl the alleys, and Marcus must navigate these paths without drawing attention. Every step he takes is measured, every corner is scanned for movement. As he moves quietly, he notices subtle signs of the city's hidden life. A flickering lantern in a narrow doorway signals a clandestine meeting. The faint echo of whispered conversations hints at secret dealings. Tonight, he will see more than he usually does. Halfway through his journey, Marcus passes a secluded courtyard where a group of freedmen are engaged in a heated debate, their words hushed but intense. They appear to be discussing matters of trade or politics, yet their presence here in the dead of night suggests something more, perhaps a plan that could shift alliances or fortunes in the city. Marcus watches from the shadows, his curiosity tempered by the knowledge that discovery could endanger him. Still, the thrill of witnessing events that are forbidden to someone like him fills him with a rare sense of empowerment. Finally, Marcus reaches the destination, a villa whose gates are tightly guarded by two men whose expressions are unreadable in the dim light. He announces himself softly, presenting the chest and documents as instructed. The guards scrutinize him, but his composure and careful movements earn their cautious approval. Inside, the villa is eerily quiet, filled with the faint scent of incense and polished wood. He places the items carefully and bows slightly, understanding that even the smallest gesture matters in this world of hierarchy and strict protocol. As he departs, the city's streets stretch before him like a labyrinth of shadows. The moon has shifted, casting long, distorted shapes across the walls. Marcus moves quickly but cautiously, knowing that his journey back is just as perilous as the first leg. Each step, each decision is a test of skill and nerve, a nightly reminder that even a slave can carve small victories in a world designed to limit them. By the time he returns to the villa where he sleeps, Marcus is exhausted but quietly exhilarated. The night has tested him, taught him, and shown him glimpses of a city that exists in layers, one for the powerful and free, and another hidden for those like him who survive in shadows. In these hidden paths, Marcus discovers a strange sense of freedom, even in a life bound by labor and rules. Returning to the small quarters he shares with other slaves, Marcus pauses for a moment in the quiet of the night. The city feels different now, like a living organism, breathing and moving in ways invisible to those who only see it by day. The tasks, the errands, the hidden corners he has explored, all of it weighs on him, yet in this weight lies a strange sense of purpose. He sits near the small window of his room, watching the moonlight spill over the terracotta rooftops. From this vantage, Marcus can see parts of Rome that few ever notice: the river glimmering faintly in the distance, the silhouettes of temples and statues standing silent and solemn, and the occasional flicker of life in distant alleys, lamplit faces, hurried footsteps, whispered words. Each sight reminds him that the city is not merely a place of labor and law, it is alive with hidden wonders, with secrets layered upon secrets. In these moments of reflection, Marcus allows himself to imagine what freedom might feel like. He pictures strolling through the forum without fear, listening to philosophers debate openly, or walking alongside friends without the burden of watchful eyes. Yet he knows that such visions are rare luxuries. For now, he must make do with these glimpses, with the understanding that even small acts, completing his tasks, observing the hidden life of the city, sharing quiet smiles with friends, are forms of liberation in themselves. The night also brings lessons in resilience. Each sound that might signal danger, each shadow that might conceal threat, trains his senses and strengthens his mind. Marcus understands that awareness and adaptability are as crucial as physical strength. A night spent alert and observant is a night spent learning,
not only about the city, but about his own capabilities. The dark streets are a teacher, and he is a willing student, absorbing every detail, every nuance. Even in the midst of hardships, small joys persist. A cool breeze against his face, the gentle rustle of leaves in a courtyard, or the distant melody of a lone musician, all are reminders that life carries beauty alongside struggle. Marcus treasures these tiny gifts, storing them like precious coins in the vault of memory, each one sustaining him through days of labor and nights of uncertainty. As the first faint hints of dawn begin to color the sky, Marcus feels the night's experiences settle within him. There is exhaustion, yes, but also a quiet exhilaration. He has witnessed wonders few others see, survived perils that could have ended him, and shared moments of connection that enrich even the darkest corners of his life. The city sleeps lightly now, but Marcus's mind is awake, reflecting, learning, and dreaming of what tomorrow might bring. In the gentle quiet of his room, Marcus whispers to himself, a soft acknowledgement of the hidden victories and secret joys that mark his nights. Though the world above him is governed by masters, laws, and rigid hierarchies, he has found, within shadows, alleys, and moonlight, a life uniquely his own.
As the night deepens, Marcus takes a familiar shortcut through the labyrinth of alleys near the Forum. The city sleeps uneasily, every lamp casting long, wavering shadows that make even familiar paths seem mysterious. His footsteps are soft, careful, yet the air seems charged with anticipation, as if something unseen awaits. Turning a corner, Marcus notices a faint light flickering behind a high wrought iron gate he has passed many times but never entered. Curiosity tinged with caution drives him closer. Through the gaps in the gate, he glimpses a small courtyard illuminated by lanterns, and to his astonishment, he hears hushed whispers, voices speaking in tones both urgent and secretive. He crouches in the shadow, heart racing, listening. The group inside is composed of freedmen, artisans, and even a few low-ranking patricians who have slipped away from the scrutiny of their peers. They speak of matters that Marcus can barely comprehend, plans of trade, political schemes, and cryptic references to alliances that could change the city's balance of power. To an outsider, it might seem like gossip, but Marcus knows better. Every word carries weight, and every pause is deliberate. Marcus feels a thrill he has never known. Here, hidden from the eyes of masters and magistrates, the city reveals a secret life where power, knowledge, and influence move in invisible currents. He recognizes that these whispers, these clandestine gatherings, shape Rome in ways that daily routines and visible authority never could. Yet danger is never far. A sudden creak of the gate makes Marcus freeze. His pulse quickens, knowing that discovery could mean punishment, or worse. He presses himself against the cold stone wall, barely breathing, listening as the conversation continues. The voices are careful, but not cautious enough. He catches fragments of discussion about shipments along the Tiber, secret meetings in distant villas, and coded messages delivered out of the cover of darkness. Marcus realizes he is witnessing a layer of the city most slaves, and even most citizens, will never know exists. The allure of knowledge battles with the instinct for safety. Marcus knows he cannot linger long, but he allows himself a final, lingering glance. The courtyard with its flickering lanterns and shadowed figures feels like a hidden universe, separate yet intertwined with his own life. He slips back into the alleys, retracing his steps silently, mind racing with thoughts and questions. As he returns to his quarters, Marcus reflects on the experience. Nights in Rome are not merely for labor. They are portals to unseen worlds, fleeting moments where the ordinary rules bend and the hidden city comes alive. Every shadow, every whisper, every subtle motion offers a glimpse into power, freedom, and secrets that he might never fully possess, yet can now observe. Marcus falls asleep with a mixture of exhaustion and exhilaration. In dreams, he walks again through that courtyard, listening to the whispers, feeling the pulse of the hidden city, knowing that tomorrow will demand labor and obedience, but tonight has granted him a taste of knowledge and adventure few ever know.
The night has grown deeper, colder, and more silent. Yet Marcus is wide awake, preparing for a task assigned by his master that promises both risk and reward. He has been instructed to deliver a sealed scroll and a small pouch of coins to a merchant in a distant part of the city.
The errand is straightforward in appearance, but Marcus knows that in Rome, even the simplest assignment can carry unexpected danger. He steps quietly into the streets, each cobblestone underfoot familiar yet menacing in the dim lantern light. The city is mostly asleep, but shadows move like living things, rats scuttling, cats hunting, and the occasional figure passing swiftly through the alleys. Marcus keeps to the walls, observing every corner, listening for sounds that might indicate trouble. A guard's distant whistle, the metallic clang of shutters, even the murmur of the Tiber can signal change. Halfway to his destination, Marcus senses a presence behind him, a figure cloaked in darkness, moving with a purpose. His heart quickens. He has learned that in Rome, strangers at night are rarely neutral. He pauses, blends with the shadow of a doorway, and watches. The figure is not a thief, but another courier, moving silently with a bundle tucked under one arm. Their paths cross briefly, eyes meeting in mutual understanding. The night belongs to those who move with caution, those who understand its rules. Marcus continues, tension coiling in his stomach. He reaches the merchant's building, a modest home with a lantern burning in the front window. Presenting the scroll and coins as instructed, he is ushered inside. The merchant, a wary man with sharp eyes, accepts the items without word, yet his scrutiny is intense. Marcus notices small details, the way the merchant counts the coins twice, the almost imperceptible nods to someone hidden in a back room. Rome's night is filled with silent agreements and secret exchanges, and Marcus is keenly aware of everyone. On his return, an unexpected event occurs. A cart, moving too fast along the narrow streets, nearly collides with him. Marcus leaps aside just in time, heart hammering. The sound of wheels and the driver's frustrated shouts echo through the alleys. It is a reminder that even well-planned tasks carry unforeseen risks. The night, calm in appearance, is a living entity, full of surprises, threats, and lessons. By the time Marcus reaches his master's villa, exhaustion weighs heavily on him. Every muscle aches, every sense has been alert, yet he feels a quiet satisfaction. The errand is complete, the coins and scroll delivered safely, and he has navigated another layer of Rome's hidden nightlife. Nights like these are lessons in patience, skill, and awareness. Marcus understands that while freedom is distant, knowledge and survival are within reach, and that even in servitude, small victories can be claimed in the quiet hours of the city. After completing the delivery, Marcus retreats to the small room he shares with other slaves, the quiet settling around him like a comforting blanket. The villa is silent, except for the faint crackle of a dying lamp in the corner, the scent of extinguished fires lingering in the air. Nights like these are rare gifts, moments when the city pauses, and Marcus has a chance to reflect on his life, his struggles, and the subtle freedoms he carves out in the shadows. He sits on the worn stone floor, letting the exhaustion of his labors seep into his muscles. Yet beneath the fatigue, his mind is alive, replaying every encounter, every alleyway, every whispered secret from the night. He thinks of the courtyard with the masked figures, the hidden craftsman, the secretive merchant, and even the fleeting smile shared with Cassia. Each memory feels like a small treasure, precious and fragile, preserved in the stillness of the night. Marcus wonders about the lives of those around him, the freedmen and patricians who move through the hidden city with their own agendas, the artisans who practice their crafts in secrecy, and the other slaves whose courage and cunning help them survive. What motivates them? How do they dream? And what risks are they willing to take in the darkness? These questions fuel his curiosity, pushing him to observe, learn, and adapt. The night, he realizes, is as much a teacher as it is a realm of danger. As he gazes out of the small window, Marcus notices the subtle beauty of the sleeping city. Rooftops glinting silver in the moonlight, the distant ripple of the Tiber, the soft glow of lanterns that mark homes still awake. There is a rhythm to it, a pulse that contrasts sharply with the harsh demands of the day. It is in these moments that he feels a strange sense of belonging. Though his body is bound by labor, his mind roams freely through the hidden veins of Rome. He also contemplates the precarious balance of his existence. Each night he risks punishment, injury, or exposure to the dangers that lurk unseen. And yet each night also offers glimpses of knowledge, mastery, and fleeting joy. Marcus understands that life is measured not just in survival, but in how one navigates its shadows.
In these quiet hours, he feels both constrained and powerful, bound yet capable of understanding the city in ways others cannot. The night stretches on, the silence deepening as dawn approaches. Marcus closes his eyes, allowing the experiences of the hours past to settle within him. He feels a mix of exhaustion, satisfaction, and anticipation. Tomorrow will demand the same diligence, the same careful steps, the same courage. But tonight has gifted him insight, resilience, and a connection to a hidden Rome that exists just beyond the perception of the day-bound world. As he drifts into sleep, Marcus carries with him a quiet promise: to observe, to learn, and to navigate the shadows with skill, patience, and courage. In a city that thrives on hierarchy and strict rules, the night remains his realm, a secret world where even a slave can glimpse freedom, knowledge, and wonder.
The night had settled into a deep stillness when Marcus decided to take a slightly longer route back to the villa. The streets, familiar yet ever-changing in the shadows, whispered secrets only those who moved carefully could notice. The moon cast long, silver streaks across the cobblestones, illuminating graffiti etched into walls, tiny signs of rebellion or messages from unseen hands. As Marcus turned a narrow alley, he froze. A figure stepped out from the darkness ahead, moving with fluid grace. It was a young man, perhaps a freedman, holding a small satchel and glancing nervously around. Their eyes met, and in that instant, Marcus recognized the tension of someone carrying a secret too valuable to reveal. Curiosity battled caution, but Marcus knew that in these moments, observation was as important as action. The stranger whispered something Marcus could barely hear. It sounded like a coded phrase, a signal, perhaps, meant for someone else. Marcus remained still, pretending to adjust his sandals, heart pounding. In response, the stranger handed him a tiny, folded slip of parchment, then disappeared into the shadows as silently as he had arrived. Marcus unfolded it cautiously, revealing a crudely drawn map of streets and hidden courtyards. Small annotations hinted at secret meeting points, hidden workshops, and alleys where rare goods could be traded in secrecy. He felt a rush of excitement. This map was more than paper. It was a window into a side of Rome that few knew existed. Every street, every mark, every symbol promised opportunities for knowledge, survival, and perhaps even small forms of rebellion. Marcus's mind raced with possibilities. He could observe these secret locations, meet the hidden artisans, or even understand the flow of wealth and information that traveled beneath the surface of the city. But he also understood the risks. Possession of this knowledge could be dangerous. Discovery might mean punishment from his master, or worse, from those who controlled the hidden networks of the city. Yet the allure of understanding the hidden Rome, the city's whispered currents, the unseen lifeblood of commerce, craft, and connection, was irresistible. As he tucked the map carefully into his tunic, Marcus realized that the night was no longer just a time for chores or stealthy errands. It was a realm of learning and exploration, of discovery and hidden alliances. Every shadow could conceal danger, yes, but it could also hide insight, opportunity, and knowledge that could transform his understanding of the world around him. The alley fell silent again, and Marcus resumed his path home, steps measured but mind racing. For the first time, he felt that he was not merely surviving the night. He was beginning to navigate it with purpose, curiosity, and the faint spark of agency. The city's secrets were vast, and he had glimpsed just a corner of its hidden tapestry. Tonight had changed him, showing that beneath the surface of Rome lay a world both dangerous and extraordinary, waiting for those bold enough to observe and learn.
With the small parchment safely tucked into his tunic, Marcus felt a thrill he had never experienced before. The city that had always seemed vast and impenetrable now unfolded before him in new patterns, invisible to most eyes. Each alley, courtyard, and shadowed doorway marked on the map was a clue, a thread leading deeper into the hidden life of Rome. That night, he carefully retraced the first path indicated, moving slowly and deliberately. The streets were quiet, the usual nighttime noises, distant fountains, the occasional footstep, creating a rhythm to his journey. As Marcus followed the scribbled directions, he noticed things he had never truly observed before. small signs etched on doors, subtle differences in lantern placement, and marks on walls that seemed to signal approval or caution. The city, he realized, was communicating with those who knew how to read it. The first marked location led him to a tiny workshop hidden behind a seemingly abandoned building. Inside, candlelight flickered against walls lined with tools and half-finished creations. A craftsman, head bowed over delicate metalwork, barely acknowledged Marcus, yet the air was welcoming, as if he had passed some silent test simply by arriving. Marcus watched, fascinated, as the artisan shaped small figurines and jewelry with extraordinary skill. Here, in the shadows, talent and creativity thrived outside the scrutiny of the elite, a reminder that not all value in Rome was measured by wealth or status. Encouraged, Marcus moved to the next point on the map, a narrow courtyard where he found a small group of slaves practicing music and acrobatics. They worked in perfect synchrony, their movements precise despite the lack of supervision. Marcus realized that these gatherings were not merely for entertainment. They were training, preparation for performances that would eventually be sold or displayed, ways for the oppressed to carve a space for themselves in a city that often ignored their existence. As he explored further, Marcus discovered hidden gardens tucked between buildings, small pockets of green that provided herbs, fruits, and even a moment of quiet reflection. Each location offered lessons in survival, creativity, and resilience. The map was not just a guide to physical places. It was a roadmap to understanding Rome itself, its hidden economy, its unspoken rules, and the networks of people who lived on the margins but held quiet power in their skills and knowledge. By the time Marcus returned to his quarters, the first hints of dawn were creeping over the rooftops. His mind was buzzing with everything he had witnessed. The night had transformed from a period of labor and caution into a journey of discovery. He realized that knowledge of the city's hidden paths and secret lives was a form of empowerment, a way to navigate the constraints imposed on him, while uncovering beauty, skill, and ingenuity that existed entirely beyond the reach of most citizens. Marcus placed the map carefully under his pillow, a talisman of possibility. Tomorrow, he knew, would demand work and obedience, yet tonight had reminded him that even a slave could find agency, adventure, and insight in the quiet, shadowed veins of Rome. The hidden city was alive, and for the first time Marcus felt that he could walk its streets not only as a servant, but as an observer, a learner, and a participant in its secret world.
The next night, Marcus felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension as he prepared to revisit the locations marked on the mysterious map. Each step through the cobblestone alleys felt purposeful, the moonlight guiding him like a silent companion. The city seemed quieter than usual, almost holding its breath, as if aware that something extraordinary was about to unfold. His first stop was a workshop tucked behind a crumbling building, previously unnoticed even by those who walked these streets daily. The faint glow of lanterns spilled through the doorway, revealing a narrow room packed with tools, half-finished wooden carvings, and intricate metal trinkets. Marcus crouched in the shadow, observing silently. The craftsman inside worked with a focus so intense it was almost hypnotic, shaping delicate figurines that seemed to capture the life of the city itself. Tonight, however, the workshop revealed something new. Hidden beneath a pile of straw and tools was a small chest, its lock rusty but intact. The craftsman glanced around, seemingly distracted, giving Marcus the opportunity to sneak closer. With trembling hands, he lifted the lid. Inside lay tiny tokens of wealth and messages written in code, evidence of secret transactions and communications between artisans and patrons unknown to the city's officials. Marcus realized that he had stumbled upon a hidden network, one that allowed skilled workers to thrive in secrecy, exchanging goods, information, and even favors that would have been impossible under the public eye. The thrill of discovery pulsed through him. This was more than craftsmanship. It was a lifeline, a hidden economy sustaining those often overlooked by society. Marcus understood the gravity of what he had found. Knowledge like this was dangerous if revealed, yet immensely valuable. It painted a picture of a city alive in ways few could imagine, where power and influence were not solely determined by wealth or status, but by skill, secrecy, and courage. As he backed away quietly, Marcus felt the pulse of the city beneath his feet, the rhythm of hidden lives moving unnoticed by the patricians above. Every alley, courtyard, and workshop held stories, and now he had glimpsed one that few would ever see. The night, which once seemed oppressive and limiting, now shimmered with possibility.
By the time Marcus returned to his quarters, the first light of dawn was brushing the rooftops. He placed the chest carefully in the corner, unseen but unforgettable, a tangible reminder that even in servitude, moments of empowerment and insight could be claimed. The night had tested his courage, patience, and perception, and he had emerged not just unscathed, but enlightened. Marcus lay down on his straw mattress, heart racing with anticipation for what the next nights might reveal. The hidden Rome was vast and intricate, full of dangers and wonders alike, and he now knew that each step taken under the cover of darkness could unlock secrets that changed not just his understanding of the city, but his understanding of life itself.
The following night, Marcus felt a sense of purpose unlike any he had known before. With the coded map tucked safely beneath his tunic, he navigated the familiar alleys with a confidence born of countless nocturnal journeys. The city, once a maze of danger and labor, now revealed hidden pathways, secret courtyards, and silent doorways that seemed almost to beckon him forward. Each shadowed turn carried the promise of discovery. His first destination was the small courtyard where musicians and acrobats practiced under the cover of darkness. Tonight, however, Marcus noticed more figures than usual: artisans, scribes, and even a few freedmen he recognized from previous encounters. They exchanged subtle nods and whispered greetings as Marcus entered, acknowledging his presence in a network that was growing silently beneath Rome's bustling daytime life. This was more than isolated pockets of hidden activity. It was a web, a connected network of people moving, working, and communicating in secret. Marcus felt a thrill as he realized the potential of what he had uncovered. Knowledge of this network was power, yet it was subtle and delicate. Unlike the patricians' overt authority, this influence moved quietly, sustained by skill, discretion, and mutual reliance. The artisan showed him small tokens, notes, and messages from distant corners of the city. Each piece of information was like a thread, connecting hidden workshops, clandestine meetings, and secret exchanges that the public would never know. Tonight, Marcus also encountered an unexpected figure, a man cloaked in a dark robe, who approached him with a measured step. The stranger's eyes were sharp, scanning Marcus as if assessing his intentions. "You've been paying attention," the man said quietly, voice barely above a whisper. "There is more to see, more to learn, but discretion is key. One misstep, and you'll be exposed." Marcus nodded, understanding both the risk and the opportunity. He had already glimpsed fragments of Rome's hidden life, but this stranger hinted at something deeper: layers of intrigue, networks of influence, and secrets that shaped the city from the shadows. Marcus's heart pounded at the thought of navigating these hidden realms. Each alley, each courtyard, each clandestine meeting was a chance to learn, to grow, and to claim a small measure of agency in a life otherwise constrained by servitude. Before departing, the stranger handed Marcus a small token, an intricately carved wooden piece that seemed ordinary but carried symbolic meaning to those familiar with the network. It was a sign of trust, a signal that Marcus was being drawn deeper into the city's web of hidden connections. As he returned to his quarters, the weight of the token in his hand reminded him that the night held both opportunity and danger, and that knowledge could be as powerful as freedom itself. Lying on his straw mattress, Marcus felt a mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. The city had revealed its hidden pulse once again, and he understood that the nights ahead would offer both tests and revelations. He closed his eyes, the web or shadows stretching in his mind, a delicate, intricate, and thrilling map of secret lives, alliances, and discoveries yet to be fully understood.
The night air was thick with anticipation as Marcus made his way back to the hidden network. Each alleyway and courtyard he passed felt charged, alive with secrets he had only begun to understand. The wooden token from the previous encounter rested securely in his tunic, a symbol of trust and invitation into the city's hidden web. Yet Marcus knew that trust in this world was fragile. One misstep could unravel everything. Upon reaching the courtyard where musicians, artisans, and freedmen gathered, Marcus was met with a subtle tension. The stranger from before stood near the center, eyes scanning the group with a calculated intensity. Marcus felt the weight of scrutiny as he approached. This night was different. It was not just about observation, but participation. His loyalty and discretion were being tested. "Marcus," the stranger said quietly, his tone deliberate, "tonight you must prove that you understand the rules of our world. A secret must be delivered, without being seen, without drawing attention. Success ensures your place. Failure has consequences. Marcus nodded, heart racing, understanding the gravity of the task. He was handed a small folded parchment, lighter than he expected, yet heavy with meaning. The instructions were simple in words, but complex in execution. Deliver this message to a specific artisan, ensure no one else sees it, and return without being noticed. The task required not just skill, but judgment, composure, and a deep awareness of the city's hidden currents. Navigating the darkened streets, Marcus moved with precision. He passed through familiar alleys, noting shadows, listening to distant footsteps, and observing every subtle sound that could signal danger. His mind replayed lessons learned over countless nights. Trust his instincts, move deliberately, and never underestimate the city's hidden watchers. Every step was measured, every movement purposeful. Finally, he reached the artisan's workshop, placing the parchment carefully where it would be found. The craftsman, aware of the secret arrangement, acknowledged him with a small, almost imperceptible nod. Marcus retraced his steps, heart pounding, aware that any mistake could be fatal to his standing within the network. Upon returning, the stranger's eyes scrutinized him. Marcus waited, tense, but finally a faint smile crossed the man's face. "You have done well," he said. "Trust, loyalty, and skill. You have shown all three. Remember, these nights will continue to test you, but those who prove themselves gain knowledge and power few ever see." As Marcus lay on his straw mattress later, the exhaustion was tempered by pride. He had navigated danger, demonstrated discretion, and earned a deeper place in the hidden city. Nights in Rome were no longer just hours of labor or survival. They were tests, lessons, and gateways to understanding a world invisible to most. Marcus realized that trust was both fragile and powerful, and loyalty could open doors that seemed permanently closed.
The city of Rome slept lightly, but Marcus felt wide awake, his senses sharpened by the lessons of countless nights. With the trust he had earned in the hidden network, he was invited deeper into the city's web, a labyrinth of alleys, courtyards, and workshops few had ever seen. Each step felt like venturing into a world layered beneath the ordinary streets, alive with secrets and hidden agendas. Tonight, the stranger guided him to a narrow passage behind the marketplace, a route Marcus had never dared to take alone. The walls were damp, covered with centuries of soot and graffiti, and the faint smell of herbs and dust hung in the air. Lanterns flickered ahead, revealing a hidden courtyard where artisans, scribes, and even minor freedmen gathered quietly. Marcus sensed immediately that this was a more elite circle, those who controlled knowledge and resources in the shadows. Whispers reached him as he stepped closer, references to trade routes, coded messages, and forbidden alliances. Each voice carried weight, every gesture was calculated. Marcus realized that the network was not merely about survival or craft, it was a hidden mechanism influencing the city itself, connecting people across social boundaries, even manipulating information that could shift fortunes. He was led to a small chamber beneath a workshop, accessible only through a trapdoor concealed under a rug. Inside, the air was warmer, heavy with the smell of parchment, ink, and candle smoke. Tables were scattered with maps, letters, and tokens, symbols of clandestine exchanges. Marcus's eyes widened. Here lay the evidence of Rome's hidden infrastructure, a system of secret couriers, artisans, and informants that kept the city moving in ways the patricians never saw. "This," whispered the stranger, "is the heart of the hidden city. Every alley, every workshop, every quiet courtyard you've explored connects to this. Knowledge flows here before it reaches the streets above. Power is held by those who understand it, not those who claim it publicly." Marcus absorbed everything, heart-pounding with a mixture of awe and fear. He understood the stakes. One slip, one revealing gesture, and the entire network could collapse, or worse, he could be punished severely. Yet the thrill of knowing these secrets, of navigating a realm few could imagine, surged through him. As he left the chamber, Marcus noticed a hidden corridor leading further beneath the city. The air was colder here, the walls slick, and the faint sound of water echoed like whispers from another world. This path promised even deeper knowledge, more dangerous secrets, and perhaps glimpses of power that had been denied him all his life. Marcus knew he was only at the beginning. The night outside felt different now, heavier with purpose, charged with possibility. Marcus returned to his quarters with a sense of exhilaration, understanding that his role in the hidden city was no longer passive. He had seen the machinery of secrets, the pulse of networks, and the subtle ways power flowed unseen.
The city slept, but Marcus's mind raced, plotting routes, memorizing signs, and dreaming of discoveries yet to come.
The night was unusually still, the kind of quiet that makes every sound louder, every shadow heavier. Marcus moved with purpose, the wooden token and coded map hidden beneath his tunic, guiding him through streets and alleys that few had ever dared to navigate. He was no longer just a servant or observer. He had become a participant in the city's hidden life, a player in a game of secrets and power. Tonight, the stranger had instructed him to follow a series of markings leading to a secluded warehouse near the river. The path was labyrinthine, winding through narrow corridors, abandoned courtyards, and stairways hidden from the eyes of the casual passerby. Every turn brought new tension. Every faint noise caused his pulse to quicken. Marcus's mind replayed every lesson learned. Observe first, trust instincts, move silently, and never reveal more than necessary. As he approached the warehouse, he noticed two figures standing outside. Their faces were obscured by hoods, but their stance suggested authority. Marcus pressed himself against the wall, heart pounding, realizing that this encounter could determine his standing in the hidden network, or end it entirely. The figures spoke briefly in hushed tones, then disappeared inside, leaving the door slightly ajar. Marcus slipped in behind them, careful to stay in the shadows. Inside, the warehouse was alive with whispered activity. Artisans, scribes, and messengers moved quietly, exchanging letters, coins, and small parcels. The air was thick with candle smoke and the faint scent of ink and wax. Marcus recognized several faces from previous nights, but the scale of this operation was far greater than anything he had imagined. He realized he had stumbled upon a central hub of the hidden city, a place where information, resources, and influence converged in secrecy. Suddenly, a hand clamped over his mouth from behind. Marcus froze, panic surging through him, but the grip loosened quickly. A familiar voice whispered, "It's me, relax. You're being watched, yes, but not by enemies. The network has its ways." It was the stranger, guiding him deeper into the warehouse. Marcus's mind raced. If this was just the surface, what lay further below? Through a concealed door, they descended into a subterranean chamber. The walls were lined with maps, coded messages, and artifacts that Marcus could barely comprehend. Every piece of information hinted at a larger scheme, alliances, hidden trades, secret correspondences that connected the city's elite, freedmen, and artisans in ways invisible above ground. The network was not just survival, it was power. As he absorbed the scale of what he had discovered, Marcus realized that his nights of labor, observation, and careful maneuvering had brought him to the edge of something extraordinary. Suspense surged through him. Every shadow held a possibility, every whisper a clue. The hidden city had opened its heart to him, but with it came responsibility, danger, and a new understanding of Roman self. A city where power was invisible, alliances were fragile, and knowledge was the most potent weapon of all. The subterranean chamber was alive with quiet energy, a hum of information flowing through unseen channels. Marcus felt both exhilarated and cautious. He now understood that the hidden city was far more intricate than he had ever imagined. Every artisan, courier, and freedman he had met was a thread in a delicate tapestry of power and influence, one that shaped the city without drawing the notice of patricians or magistrates. The stranger motioned toward a central table cluttered with parchments, tokens, and miniature models of neighborhoods. "These," he whispered, "are the threads. Know them and you understand the city. Misuse them and you vanish." Marcus's eyes widened as he traced the routes marked on the maps, realizing that they detailed secret trade routes, hidden workshops, and safe havens for information couriers. Some led to merchants who dealt in forbidden goods, others to rooms where clandestine meetings influenced politics and commerce. Marcus was given a task unlike any before, to deliver a message to a distant point in the city where an unexpected gathering awaited. It was a test not just of stealth, but of understanding the network itself. If he failed, not only could his position be lost, but the hidden flow of information could be disrupted, with repercussions that rippled through the city's shadows. Every step he took was precise. He navigated through alleys he had memorized, avoided patrols, and passed silent courtyards where only faint candlelight suggested life. Along the way, he glimpsed the hidden vitality of Rome. Craftsmen working under lanterns, musicians rehearsing in secret, and scribes passing notes unseen by the waking city. It struck him that the network was not merely about power. It was about survival, cooperation, and subtle resistance against the rigid order of daily life. Reaching his destination, Marcus found a group of individuals already gathered. Some he recognized from the courtyard, others completely new. The message he delivered was received with quiet acknowledgement, followed by nods of respect and small gestures that conveyed trust and understanding without words. Marcus felt a surge of pride. He was no longer just an observer or a servant. He was now a participant in shaping this hidden web of influence, fully immersed in a network where every choice mattered. As he retraced his steps back to the villa, Marcus's mind raced. The city's visible world, its laws, hierarchies, and punishments, was only a layer. Beneath it lay a living, breathing organism of people, knowledge, and action that moved unseen. Marcus understood that his nights of labor, observation, and careful navigation had prepared him for this new role. He was both small and significant, invisible yet powerful in ways that mattered deeply. By the time he returned to his quarters, the first light of dawn crept over the rooftops. Exhaustion tugged at him, but exhilaration and purpose filled his thoughts. Marcus lay down, heart racing, mind alive with plans, possibilities, and secrets yet to explore. The hidden city had revealed its heart, and he had glimpsed its pulse. Yet he knew that tomorrow and every night after would demand vigilance, courage, and wisdom.
The night was fading, replaced by the soft golden light of dawn spilling over Rome's rooftops. Marcus lay on his straw mattress, the exhaustion of countless errands, secret deliveries, and clandestine explorations heavy on his body, yet his mind was fully awake. The city, which had seemed oppressive and rigid by day, now revealed itself as a living, layered organism filled with secret networks, hidden talents, and whispered knowledge. He reflected on the journey of the past nights, the streets he had navigated, the alleys he had memorized, the workshops and courtyards he had discovered. Each hidden corner of the city had taught him something about survival, observation, and the delicate balance of trust and discretion. The wooden token and coded map had been his keys, but it was his courage, patience, and attention that had opened doors few others could even perceive. He thought of the people he had met, Cassia with her quiet companionship and small lessons, the artisans who worked in shadows, the musicians and acrobats whose skills thrived away from prying eyes, and the stranger who had guided him deeper into the city's secrets. Each connection, each relationship, had taught him that influence, respect, and knowledge could flourish even in a life dominated by labor and rules. He realized that the nights had been more than errands or escapes. They were lessons in agency. In the quiet hours, he had learned to navigate dangers, understand hidden systems, and claim small victories. The hidden city beneath Rome's surface was alive, intricate, and dangerous, but it also offered opportunities for insight, power, and purpose. For the first time, Marcus felt that his life, though constrained by the world above, had its own form of freedom beneath the surface. The thought brought a sense of peace. Marcus understood that survival was only the beginning. Observation, knowledge, and discretion were tools that allowed him to carve meaning from a life often dictated by others. Each night was a step toward understanding the hidden currents that shaped the city, each shadow a lesson in subtlety, each secret a small measure of power. As the sun rose higher, casting warmth over the terracotta roofs and busy streets, Marcus felt a quiet pride. He had navigated fear and danger, discovered hidden worlds, and earned a place, however small, in the city's secret life. The lessons of the night would stay with him, shaping not only how he moved through the streets, but how he understood the people, the city, and his own capacity for resilience and courage. For Marcus, dawn was no longer simply the end of the night, it was the beginning of understanding. Rome was a city of layers, of shadows and secrets, and he had learned to navigate them with skill and wisdom. The world above may have seen him as a mere slave,
but beneath its surface, he had discovered his own power, the power to observe, to learn, and to claim a place in a hidden realm that existed only for those who dared to look beyond the obvious. With a deep breath, Marcus rose, ready to face the day. Though labor awaited, the night had taught him that even in darkness, life could be extraordinary, knowledge could be power, and courage could carve freedom from the shadows.